That's right, monkey. Play my head.
I want you to take the Frankenstein shit, the deer shit, the green monster, the bling, and the bling bling. And I want you to roll it all into one joint.
No one's ever been brave enough to try that.
One man is. Roll it.
I'll smoke it with you, bro. We'll go to the loony bin together. I don't give a fuck.
Welcome back to another episode of Weed the People. I'm your host, James. I got my co-host with me, Anthony.
La Ferrara, how you doing?
And he's filling in the last name. And today we got a very special guest. I'm very excited to bring her on. We talked about this on our other podcast, We the People Radio. But we brought Judith Rose over to talk some cannabis with us and have some fun and actually
welcome.
Thanks so much.
Talk about something that we're really passionate about other than politics. It's going to be really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice and light.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. And Jude, you have a lot of experience in the industry, correct?
I do. I'm definitely not a beginner. I think my first cannabis job, I was doing some trimming at like kind of a little factory situation. You know, you go out to the grow, you like cut down the plants and you do all the whole like harvesting thing.
Oh, nice.
I did that for a little bit. I got a little monotonous, I'm not gonna lie. And then they'd tell you that you got to hit a quota and you could never hit the quota. It was like impossible. And they would have like really bad batches here and there that you just could not do a thing with. But I still learned a lot and I got some hands-on experience with the plant. And then let's see, I've had my medical card for a good 4 or 5 years now. And everything started to get better for me once I got that and was able to like consistently medicate and get like decent smoke. My life's been like, you know, on a gradual uphill pretty much since then. Because I'm just one of those people that it really helps me for a lot of reasons. It just does. But it's not for everyone. I get that. But then I got a job at a dispensary, which is what I'd been wanting to do for a long time. Before that, I did some like residential house cleaning, but I worked at this place called Chiba Hut. You guys know
we have a Chiba Hut.
I worked at Chiba Hut.
When I drove out here, we stopped in Colorado and Denver, and they had a Chiba Hut. I was like, "Yo, this is a badass idea. This is sick." The sandwiches were kind of but it was a cool idea. I liked the names and the menu. It was really like.
I just loved the sandwiches. I thought they were great.
Yeah, but
so what's a Chiba Hut?
It's
for someone who's never seen or heard of it.
Sandwiches.
It's like it's a Subway for weed sandwiches. Like they're all named after blunts and weed, and
so it's like a munchy spot.
Yeah, the size of the sandwiches are nug pinner blunt for like a small, medium, large. Then everything's all like the drinks. They call them cottonmouth cures. The desserts are called munchies, and all the subs are named after weed strains.
Oh, cool.
So the Cali Mist was like the jalapeno bacon turkey sub, you know what I mean? And it just went on and on. The Kush was like extra bacon, like a BLT. I love
Did yours have the Chiba Hut by me has a liquor license? They serve booze.
Yeah, they usually have a bar. There's only one location that doesn't, and I think that's the one in Glendale by the community college in Phoenix, Arizona.
I can't wait till things like lift and they're a lot less strict, and instead of a bar, they have like a bud bar. And
you know, like Amsterdam style.
Yeah, like you can get a sandwich and like a joint. Like just go. I just want a joint. I don't want to buy.
Concept.
Yeah, just smoke real quick before I eat. While you're making my sandwich, I'll just smoke in the bud bar, and you know, because Vegas has been waiting for smoking lounges for a while. They passed the bill. They just haven't like implemented it, so everybody's just sitting in limbo waiting for them for smokers lounges.
Go until then, like let me know, and then I'll actually go to Vegas because I've never really seriously gone as an adult to Vegas because I don't drink. I hate alcohol. I hate the alcohol culture.
I don't know about Arizona because you have a very similar climate to us in Vegas.
Yeah.
But the weed here is boof. It's terrible.
Yeah, right.
It's all dry.
So dry.
It's so at your dispensary, because the one that I worked at when I moved out here, I noticed that they did not store the bud properly.
Wow.
Like it was
it was really loosely stored. Like when I first started working there, they were still deli style. So they had a big jar behind you that you would weigh out in front of customers, which was like incredibly time consuming. And then you'd get those people that like you weigh out half a fucking ounce and they're like, I changed my mind. And you're like, because they make you weigh it out with chopsticks or like, you know, you do it like
tongs,
very Yeah, one little thing at a time, and you're just like, okay, let me put it all back.
Wow.
At the end of yeah.
As a consumer though, I like that better. You know,
you're opening and shutting the container constantly.
I know.
You don't have hydration packs. It just ruins all of the bud.
It really does.
Judy, I don't know. Have you been to? We have out here in New Jersey. It's called J&R Cigar. Now it's like Monte Cristo Cigar Lounge, right? So it's this huge cigar mecca, you can call it, and they have an enormous room that's like, I don't know, 50 by 100 or maybe even bigger, and it's a huge humidor. Like you walk into the room, and you could just feel I don't know, not the humidity, but you could tell that it's totally controlled. You could smell the cigars. Like it's a really cool place. And I would just think that concept would transfer over to cannabis really well. So places like Vegas and Arizona, these dry desert climates, I mean, it's a wonder no one's done something like that.
You'd think. Like they
literally ideas for free here.
At our dispensary, they had a giant closet that they would just put a giant humidifier in there and just put everything in plastic boxes and just stack it in there and then let the humidifier run. I'm like, this is how you guys store it? This is ridiculous. Yeah. Like we live in a dry ass climate.
I have to rehydrate my weed sometimes when I get it, and especially because it'll sit for a little bit and then it'll dry out even more.
Oh yeah.
I would tell people to rehydrate your bud if you don't know, because like those little gel packs are kind of expensive and you can't I never really bothered to buy any, but you can actually use citrus skins like an orange peel, like an orange rind, and I usually like to get a damp paper towel and shove it in the lid of whatever jar I have, because I usually have a little glass jar that's got that. They give them to you all the time, so you keep that in the jar for about an hour or two, and that kind of like gives it a little bit of life.
I use blacklight jars because I don't want my bud getting any UV rays or any light on it whatsoever.
I have these little jars. See this? This came in my apothecary.
Devin poison.
Yeah, so it's like a little it's an erasable like marker board.
Oh,
I used to love those jars.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So you can write whatever's on it or
and then it has in the top, it's got this little, it's got a seal on it.
Ooh.
But then it has the gel pack that you like stick in there.
Okay.
You could put like orange rinds or anything in there.
Oh yeah.
And it'll do the same thing.
I used to do that all the time. I haven't done it in a long time. I used to do it when I was much younger, but I don't know why I haven't really done that. But it worked very well.
Arizona is only medicinal right now, correct?
No, we just went rec. We're rec.
Oh yeah. Is it up and running, or is it like New Jersey?
It's out for sure.
So people can anybody can just go to the dispensary and pick up bud now, or is it like New Jersey where there's a limbo
for it? Like certain dispensaries had to be ready for it, and they had to convert. And they're doing I noticed some of the dispensary techs I'm getting already. Certain sales are only applying to medical patients, so you're going to get a difference in prices and sales and things depending on if you're med or rec. And you're obviously, I think you're going to pay higher tax if you're rec as well. So medical patients are still they have an advantage. I think it's going to be kind of like California, but we're looking into which dispensaries are actually ready and doing it. I'm not sure if they all are, but it is definitely rolling out. It is happening.
So they need to have enough product based on their projected demand. Is that how they're ready? Or
it must be I am not fully involved in dispensaries right now. I just became a brand ambassador for Uncle Herbs, but I'm starting my first event at the end of the month.
Shout out to cool. Uncle Herbs. Definitely.
Yeah.
Just don't link it, James.
I'll be traveling around Arizona to different dispensaries and talking about their products.
Oh, that's great.
That'll be the closest I've gotten to being inside a dispensary in a while. I quit my job last year in May, so it's coming up on a year. And it was because COVID just kind of ruined it for me. It sucked all the joy out of it. I wasn't talking to people as a bud tender and seeing what they needed, seeing how they like to consume things and figuring out what they could buy or getting anything for them. It was literally we were just down to go orders at one point for several weeks. And it was
miserable.
It was so awful. And then all the plexiglass went up and stuff over your face. And it was just here's your bag. Can I always take your money? Have a good day. That's it.
Yeah. So
I'm done.
When I was bud tending, one of my favorite things to do was, like you just said, interact with the customers and find out what really helps them. Because one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced in the cannabis community, or even really in my life, was I'll never forget it. This one guy came in with his dog. He had really bad PTSD to the point where he was shaking. He couldn't even hold his credit card. Like he couldn't even hold it. And so we talked, and I figured out what he wanted, and I gave him his product. And he came back like an hour and a half later, and he just came up and he's like, I need to shake your hand because whatever you gave me really, really helped me. And he wasn't shaking. And it was just
wow,
such a cool experience that I was able to do something like that for somebody. And this is something that people demonize so much and make it look so bad that we're pot smokers. But in reality, we're out here just trying to help people. Like when we started this show, Judith, the aunt said right off the bat, like with today in today's world, how divided everything is, and the political atmosphere, and you know how families aren't speaking to each other, best friends are no longer friends anymore. We need to talk about something that brings people together, and I think this plant is exactly that. And like you said in the beginning of the show, it's not for everybody, but I will say that when there is beef, there is issues and rifts between people. If you sit down and just smoke and have a blunt, or just pass a bowl around real quick, I guarantee by the end of that bowl, you guys will be good as friends as you were before. I mean, forget about all the nonsense.
Maybe cannabis in that form, in the psychoactive form, the intoxicating form, is not for everybody. But I guarantee you there's an element of that plant that is for every human in one aspect of their life or another.
This is why I took notes, you guys, because
lay it on me.
Down all the components that we're talking about, all the separate things can help people. So
yeah, let's go into it, because we went into terps last week. We touched on Delta 8. We didn't really dive into any of that stuff. So let's go. Let's hear it, Rose.
We'll start with the obvious one, the CBD, because that's the one that anybody can consume. And that if you're consistent with CBD, that will balance your endocannabinoid system. You have to take a bit every single day, and people don't always like see results quickly, so then they stop taking it. But people have spoken to me after about a month or a month and a half out of using it every single day. They're like, my mood's better, my energy's better. Like they notice, they feel different.
Well, can I ask you, because last week I mentioned about CBD, because you're absolutely right. You have to consistently take your tinctures, or most flowers have a little bit of THC, so most people that are residual CBD users stay away from that. But for me personally, I've noticed that the CBD works so much better with a little THC. Like it activates the CBD. Like even the balms and the lotions. Like I love the Synergy balm out here because it has a little bit of THC, and it just does so much more for my aches or pains. It doesn't get me high. It doesn't get me stoned because it's just a balm, but it makes the CBD work more efficiently, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is they are yin and yang. They do belong together. But CBD has been isolated for the people who just can't stand that psychotropic feeling, and they're kind of afraid of it, more or less, So, and it can take some getting used to, first of all. I mean, I wasn't like a fully functional stoner really until I got my card and was like, okay, now I have to get things done. And it made me want to get things done. And it helped me do, I suddenly was able to be more productive, but you have to kind of practice at it, like you gotta know your limits.
Absolutely. Because we talked about it, how a lot of people, like, I was a high level athlete. I trained MMA with some of the best fighters in the world. Like Amanda Nunez was one of my teammates that she beat the hell out of me. She hits as hard as she looks like she hits. I'll tell you that right now. But a lot of these guys in the, not Amanda Nunez, but a lot of the people in the room that were in the UFC, they were all stoned out of their minds in practice. Like they would smoke before practice, but the newcomer, they couldn't just smoke and go and train. Like they couldn't do that. Like Ant talks about it with his lifting. Like if he were to smoke and not be a regular smoker and go and lift, he'd be on his ass the entire time. He wouldn't get anything done. But when you consistently consume the plant, your body builds up a tolerance, and you're able to function and do the things that you normally would do. Like it would be tougher for some people to start something new and really just knock it out of the park. I'm
gonna be really stoned, and I'm gonna try this brand new thing that requires a lot of thought. You're not gonna get too far.
But to be a functional stoner, you could definitely. Some of the highest functioning people and the highest level athletes and brilliant minds are regular cannabis users.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All day.
When I tell you, if I don't consume cannabis and I go to the gym, I have a horrible, horrible workout. It's horrible. Yeah, but that usually never happens. But yeah,
So
Like, I mean, I don't do that.
back
that'd
to
be stupid.
back to the other compounds, the other
components.
cannabinoids that are in the plant. So I have, can I guess on which one we're going to go with next? Because CBD you started with.
Yeah, we're starting with CBD. Well, let's cover some of the benefits really quick,
Oh
because
yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
people don't always know exactly what this does for you. I mean, and the thing is, everyone's got an endocannabinoid system, and we're all designed to intake all components of this plant. So there's that. First of all, it's designed for homeostasis, which is like your normal health, your level, you're healthy. You know what I mean? So that's why consistent use is important, because it's bringing up your balance. So that's why you want to use it every day. But it's antibacterial. It inhibits cancer cell growth. It's neuroprotective. It promotes bone growth, reduces seizures and convulsions. Your immune system is going to function better. It reduces inflammation, risk of artery blockage. It reduces small intestines contractions. It can reduce pain and anxiety, slows bacterial growth, just treats psoriasis, like all kinds of things. Like, it's good for your skin. It's good for inside and out, basically. And usually, like I said, these components are yin and yang. They're going to come together. They should, because they help each other bring each other out and bring the best out of each other. But, people who don't want that can just take CBD. Still pretty beneficial,
100%.
So the next one, did you want to guess?
I was going to say, well, there's a couple really common ones that people in the community know. So I was going to say, if we're starting with CBD, we're probably going to go to either CBN or CBG.
Close.
Oh.
Because there's a component called CBDA. It's kind of like THCA.
Yep. Okay.
So that's right before CBG.
So what is CBDA?
The teacher has become the student, James.
Yeah, what is CBDA? I have not heard of CBDA. Is it alpha? Because they have a lot. They do that with terps, where there's like alpha pinene and beta pinene, or alpha carotene and beta carotene. Is that what it is? Like,
I want to say it's kind of like a THCA. It's like an even more dormant form of CBD. Now, I don't honestly know that much about it myself. I was looking into like a list and what they do, what they're for, and so. Yeah, I do think it's going to be like a more dormant CBD, and it's got the same qualities. It reduces inflammation and inhibits cancer cell growth.
That's what's so
all right. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So THCA, right? And when you take the plant, you decarb it, that makes it activated, right? So like when you apply heat, whether it's from a lighter or it's in an oven,
dab or whatever, right?
That's what then activates.
Yeah, that's decarb.
Like it makes it bioavailable. It makes it bioavailable. So I don't know if the same thing applies, like maybe for CBDA, where if you decarb it or you apply heat or you somehow activate it or extract it in some way, like that. That's what
I'm thinking. It could be similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just on this list, and I was taking notes, and I was like, that's the one. I was right. I mean, I circled the ones I recognized. So there's just more than people think. There's more than people who are experienced think.
That's what's so amazing about this plant. Like, I'm constantly still learning about compounds that are in this plant and scientists, because there still hasn't been enough studies.
No, because of the
we're like 60 years behind.
Yeah. And I've actually smoked the weed from Mississippi's grow down for the government. That the one place down in Mississippi that's growing weed for the government. I've actually smoked it. I did a test, a study in Columbia University where they had me smoke weed, and they were like, yeah, this is the weed from the Mississippi grow. I had to sign paperwork to say that, to let the DEA know that I was doing this for a study for Columbia University. Like, I had to do all this crazy stuff. But the weed, it was terrible. It was dirt. It was so bad. It was some of the worst weed I've ever smoked in my entire life. They have no clue what they are doing. None. They are not studying the plant. That is not a weed plant. Whatever they gave me, it was garbage. It was so bad.
Straight hemp.
So whatever tests are coming out from the weed that they're studying, I discredit all of them. They're garbage.
I know some people don't trust dispensary weed, like, period, because of multitude of reasons, but it's something probably along the lines of that, and or like, weed is supposed to be like a for the people thing, so people worry about it being like, the government's weed. What if it's still bad? You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Absolutely.
And I disagree with the dispensary take. I think it works both ways, because Vegas, at least, the one thing that they are good at is their testing is extremely extensive. Everything is super, super tested. So
That's what I like.
there's no mold, there's no pesticides, and they give you all the terps in it.
No moisture.
Yeah, no moisture, definitely no moisture. God forbid we get some moisture. But that's the one thing I do like about Vegas, because like I remember when I came out here, it was right after Brass Knucks. They got caught with all the pesticides in their pens. Remember that a couple years ago? Brass Knuckles was there. So Brass Knuckles is a big name brand in the vape industry out in California. They billboards, like they're all over the place. Constant advertising on Weed Leaf and Leafly, and like out in New Jersey, everything gets sent from California, and people love the name brand. They love the name brand, so everybody was buying the Brass.
It comes in a package.
Yeah,
like
everybody was buying the name brand, and they got caught with a lot of pesticides in their oils. And when I came out here, there was Brass Knuckles, and I was like, man, I'm gonna stay away from this because they just got caught, and because of the testing out here, they were okay. That's the one thing I like about Vegas is the testing, but the problem is it's very corporatized. All the growers, like there's no good cultivators. We talked about that last.
They test the flower, right? Of course, because you're saying the terpenes and the different compounds in it. But do they then also test? So then they test the edibles. Yes, they test the. So every batch, everything gets
everything
tested.
Everything will have all of the statistics for everything. It's all super, super testing.
Wow, that's cool.
But it's all corporatized, so there's no good cultivators. So there's really no good bud. Then you go to the black market. The problem, especially when you're out of state like New Jersey before it was legal, a lot of the stuff that we were smoking was from California. It was being sent over. But you come to find out a lot of the really good stuff is all the stuff that wouldn't pass the tests for the dispensary. They wouldn't pass. So you're getting all the moldy pesticide weed, even though it's really good.
I mean, not in every instance.
No, not in every instance, but a lot of the cases, because think about it. You grow a huge batch, you have, a couple hundred lights that you're growing, and they test it and it's all moldy. You can't sell all that's hundreds of pounds
you're in the hole
of product. What do you think they're doing with it? Like they're gonna sell it. They're gonna get rid of it. Oh, I'm not sitting on this. Like, it's going to find its way across the country. Like, let's be real. It's going to find its way into another place where they're still going to make money on it. So I definitely agree with being hesitant with dispensary weed, because I don't like dispensary weed. Like, it's for the most part, it's really, and if you want top shelf stuff, you're paying
it's really
it's crazy prices. And I get it. I understand it, because it is good. And even on the black market, if you're going to get some really top shelf bud, people don't understand, you're going to spend extra for. Like, you may get an eighth for a certain price, but when you buy some top shelf stuff, it's going to be more expensive, because it's just
the better product.
Yeah, the better product. Exactly. But in a dispensary, with the tax, it's outrageous, because we're the same way. It's more for rec patients than it is for medical patients on the tax. But at the same time,
isn't yours like 18, you said, or some
18.25?
I'm lucky. At least New Jersey, we're only paying like, not lucky, I get it. It's all shit, but I'm just saying it sucks less. I think it's our regular sales tax, like about 7%, and maybe some municipalities may have another 2% on that.
So, Jude, we have a whole list to go through. What's next on the list? Because this is some really good information. So many people have no idea. Like for example, CBDA, I have never heard of, and this is something that
it's kind of new to me too.
And I study this plant very, very extensively. So what's next on the list? Let's go keep going.
Well, we've got you mentioned CBG. Some people don't really know about that. Now, I think CBG is the thing that, like, it stays behind. Like, let's say you leave some old weed sitting around and you find it like a while later, and you're like, oh, it's probably not still good anymore. And in most cases, people would assume that it's not, but the component that hangs on is CBG. And so even if it's been sitting a while, it's still going to make you a little sleepy, because CBG aids sleep, and it still promotes bone growth and slows bacterial growth. So, like, no matter what, it's still going to be good for you in some way, even if it's kind of old.
Now, is that similar to CBN? Because I was under the impression CBN also is more prevalent in older cannabis. Like, it becomes more prevalent as it ages.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones that hangs on for sure.
Cool.
And a lot of the bud and dispensary is old. It sits in there.
Yeah.
Did you guys in the dispensary, like, we would shelf all the new stuff and sell what we got because it expires and they can't sell
FIFO,
what expires.
first in, first out.
And and they'd keep the good stuff, the fresh goodies in the back and let it
It's funny.
dry out.
When you think of it, then exactly, you're doing a first in, first out, which makes sense because you want to get the oldest stuff out. But then that's the only way to ensure that it's always all dry.
Yeah, you never have anything super, super fresh. Like, I mean, we moved a lot of product at the dispensary that I worked at. I did notice that, but at the same time, there would be certain items, like certain things that obviously just don't sell as well, and things that people figure out that they don't want and sit around for a while. So then they usually get written off and like given away to dispensary agents, or like, I mean, you don't know where it ends up. Someone ends up taking it, you know?
They throw ours out in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah. Or they either throw it,
Dumpster diving.
some stuff they throw out, but like they give a lot of stuff away to us.
No, we didn't we had a great discount, and we get a monthly free monthly pack. Like once a month, they'd give us a little pack of goodies.
Yeah, we get little goodie bags sometimes too. It was cool.
So like as someone going in, you would want to look for something that has high turnover, that is very popular, because you know that's going to be freshest, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Like sometimes there's like a strain of the day or like a deal of the day that's just going to be there like for like a day or two. It's usually pretty fresh, like a special eighth or something. Like just as long as it doesn't seem to be something that they've discounted to specifically move, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
that's usually good to go with.
That's good too.
Yeah.
What else we got?
We got there's also a CBGA apparently, and there's
I'm not surprised. I've noticed that with a lot of compounds in the plant.
There's like there's an A. I think it's kind of like the THCA concept, where it's a little more dormant. There's CBC and CBCA as well.
What is CBC?
And like that's still, it says it inhibits cancer cell growth, promotes bone growth, reduces inflammation, and treats fungal infections.
Wow. Nice. Well, I did hear CBN was shown to actually kill the MRSA, which is a heavy antibiotic resistant bacteria.
Yeah.
From staph. MRSA is terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
That's terrible.
There's something in here for everyone, if you ask me, you know, like.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah. And then you get into the deltas. We've got the Delta 9 THCA, the Delta 9 THC. That's technically what it is Delta 9.
Yes, it is.
But then Delta 8 is the one that they use for like children who have cancer, because it's way more mild psychotropic wise. It relieves pain, it stimulates appetite, and it can be used for other things. It's just more of like a stimulant. I don't know. It just kind of like
I've seen Delta 8 everywhere as of late. Like that's a very big talking point right now.
Yeah, Item 9 Labs has been all about it. That's one of the big brands. It's doing it really well.
Well, I think you could legally buy Delta 8. Like, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, now is this in an isolated form, or is this in like a flower?
Isolated.
No.
It's a component. It's usually like they've been putting it in edibles and vape carts. That's what I've seen the most of.
Yeah. So you could, but you could buy that, like, because it's not THC Delta 9. It's a different compound.
Yeah. I think it still has like a little bit of THC, I think, in it, but it's really not. It's not anything that can.
Well, it's like the CBD flowers. Yeah.
We're sick.
Yeah, but you can buy like vapes that have isolated Delta 8. I'm pretty sure I saw someone talking about it. Like, you could literally just go online and buy it and get it shipped to your house, and it's totally fine. Which is wild.
But some of the issues though with these isolations is that I would think that like you were saying earlier, the yin and the yang, but some compounds are really made to work in synergy with the others.
Yeah.
So I don't know, although that one compound may benefit, a particular ailment in a certain way, it may not be living up to its potential because it doesn't have its support system, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a big point. It's just different strokes for different folks kind of scenario, because not everyone wants everything, because they're a little worried about the psychoactive effects. That's the main issue I think people have, is like they just don't want to get high all the time.
What's that weed light, right? Like, isn't there
that's like Delta 8.
What country? Isn't there a country that has the cannabis legal as long as it's less than 1% THC?
Oh, I don't know.
It's in one of the Scandinavians, I thought.
I don't know, but that sounds so sad to me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sounds like torture. It's like here. It's like dangling a carrot in front of your face.
Yeah. Some people just don't want that, you know, but
And these compounds, like you were saying also before, are work externally as well as internally.
yeah, CBD is really good for your skin. And then, like we were saying, one of the components that's CBCA that treats fungal infections. So, I mean,
So crazy.
it's
There's a
amazing.
lot of topicals and balms
Oh,
out here,
I
and they're
love
great.
statins and balm.
The I know for a little jar, it's so expensive. It's like absurdly expensive for this balm that I like. But it really
what do you
does
use
work.
it for?
Aches and pains. Like I literally, like, instead of using like Bengay or something like that, I'll use this, and it's so much better. It, like, my shoulder pains, my neck pain, it really helps with all of my aches and pains. And it smells like, Bengay wood. It's got like
They use some of the same ingredients. They use oh my gosh, it was on the tip of my tongue. There's some ingredient that's kind of, it gives it that icy hot, like
that's
niacin,
exactly.
maybe.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, niacin's a flushing agent for sure. Yeah.
But it really does work. I gave some to my father. He loves it.
It absolutely works. I gave my dad a big jar of like the CBD cream, and I got him the extra strength before he got his knee replaced, and that was like one of the only things that helped him.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable.
And 'cause it's got some of the same ingredients that like the commercial Bengay type stuff has, but it's more natural, and it's got, it's still got the cooling and heating agent, like, so you're going to feel the same effects you would from that grocery store stuff, but it's going to be way better for you because that CBD is getting into your skin.
Your pores, yeah.
And it's getting, because your skin is your largest organ.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where it's going in first. And it's just excellent.
Just absorbing it. Yeah, it's really awesome. And like, that's what I like about the legalization of marijuana, is now that they're now gonna have those products available to everybody. The black market doesn't really offer that as often.
No.
Like, you may get lucky and meet a guy who's got a little bit of everything, and you can have access to that, but not many people do. It's usually like, all right, I got these carts and I got this flower. That's it.
The delivery service I use actually does have all those bombs and everything.
Well, that's why I said that, because there's not everybody has a delivery service like that. Not everybody knows somebody.
I'm extraordinarily lucky, and I was doing backflips upon backflips when I got the connection. So I know how lucky I am.
I just can't believe that like weed delivery is a thing when we were kids, it was like still taboo and illegal, and now people just like do and they bring it over.
I know it's well, did you grow up in Arizona? Is that where you grew up? Yeah. Okay, so before, like, going into your first dispensary and working at it. Like, I remember working when I first moved out here, working in my first dispensary, because I had a medical card in New Jersey. I went to the dispensaries in New Jersey when they opened up, so I had experience in the dispensary, but I never worked in one. I came out here, I worked in one, and it was the weirdest thing in the world to me that I was sitting here openly talking about weed at work. Like, usually you find that one friend at work that smokes with you, and like, you could talk about it under your breath in the corner, like, yo, after work, they're like, at lunch, let's go smoke a L. And like, you could do that, but you can't openly talk about it. I remember sitting there like, yo, this is really weird that I'm talking about, like, yo, I'm stoned as fuck right now at work, and it's totally okay.
And
like,
it's encouraged.
I'm going on my 10. I'll buy a quick pre-roll and just go out on my 10 and just smoke a J. And it's like totally fine.
Yeah. You work at a place where your coworkers are like, are you okay? Do you want to try my vape card? Go to the bathroom really quick. Like,
it's such a different vibe. It's such a different vibe compared to the rest of the country, like any other job.
I mean, it's pretty incredible though when you think about it. The three of us are having our conversation right now. We're in 3 different states, but 3 states that are now legal.
Yeah.
So it's trending in the right direction for sure.
Thank God, because enough is enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the only problem is the aspect that people don't trust is like, cannabis has been illegal for so many reasons. I mean, from like, the top layer, which is like certain racist aspects, but then there's
we talked about that.
You guys know
Harry Anslinger was a racist scumbag.
Yeah,
he's the godfather of the war on marijuana.
Yeah, but then there's a whole other aspect, like that it's rumored to decalcify your pineal gland, and that like it literally combats like MK Ultra type stuff. Like you're
I saw your tweet yesterday. Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Works.
I shared that.
It doesn't work for everyone, and I think one of the reasons people were piping up and being like, I know a lot of brainwashed stoners. I was like, well, do they eat processed foods? Do they have a lot of fluoride in their water? Do they, like, how are they taking care of themselves? Because if you're smoking a lot of weed, but the rest of your life is garbage and you're eating garbage, you're probably still going to get brainwashed.
Garbage in, garbage out. Absolutely.
So it's
I have a crazy water filter now, so there's no fluoride. I mean, I'm a daily cannabis user.
Do you use no fluoride toothpaste?
I do have a little bit of fluoride in my toothpaste, but if you are aware of it, you can prevent it.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
See,
I think
does the calcification only work if you don't know about it?
Yeah. If you meditate on it and you're constantly like, my pineal gland is healthy, you know what I mean? And you program yourself, I think that totally works too. But I definitely like to smoke and meditate, and I do drink a lot of water, but it's like there's like a filter in my fridge, that kind of situation. But I just drink a lot of water, like period. And I don't really drink any soda, very rarely. That's like a thing for me. I don't drink alcohol. I try to get some fresh food in my diet. Those are all important things, getting enough rest and all that. So some people, they're just not taking care of themselves well enough, and they're smoking weed. So then there's these people that are like, why is my stoner friend brainwashed then? And it's like, because
it's not magic.
Because he listens to CNN and he eats Doritos for breakfast. Like,
it's so they get the munchies and they go and buy frozen food, TV dinners. Hungry Man's. No, I've never gotten stoned and was like, yo, I want a Hungry Man. Like I
used to eat those when I was a kid. I used to love them.
No, you're absolutely right.
Once in a while,
because it's funny. It's probably because our audience comes from the political world, but there's so many people that message us. They're like, "Yo, you could bring politics into that show." I'm like, "Oh, we probably will at some point, but right now with the censorship, we're gonna keep that away for now.
We already got our first.
Yeah, you can't do this. They're already on us. We've got 2 episodes out. YouTube is already on us, these bastards.
I've been so hesitant to post on YouTube. Like we've been a little inconsistent with like the show that me and Matt have, but like,
yeah, real quick, you went out to UK to see Matt since the last time we spoke. How was that?
Oh, nice.
So wild.
That's such a cool story, and you guys are adorable, and I'm so happy for the both of you. And when you posted that picture out there, I was like, man, that's amazing. That's so awesome.
It's like a fairy tale right now, honestly, because like I didn't think, my whole life changed last summer, and it just hasn't stopped changing. Like,
well, you went through a roller coaster. We talked about that on We the People. So if you want to hear that,
do you want to give the people who are listening that maybe didn't catch that episode a little background? Or
so I used to be like pretty heavy Democrat liberal, was reading the news all the time every day, and was working at the dispensary, and I would literally like read news at work and just like chat shit. So I was also going to like BLM stuff, and I only went like 2 or 3 times because it was just weird to me. It started to feel off. Like I'm really sensitive to energies and stuff, and I call myself an empath. I think there's another word for it, but in general, people kind of know what I mean. So I was just like, something's not right about this. Like the cops are showing up, the people are showing up. It's like an endless cycle. They know everyone knows what's going to happen. So I'm just, and then they're getting more and more violent. I was just like, what is this? Because like I obviously want police brutality to stop. I don't want anyone to die. But like, and I used to be kind of like anti-cop, and then I realized like, why that's kind of stupid. But it took some time. I had to quit my job. When all the joy left, I just didn't want to work at the dispensary anymore because it wasn't what I signed up for. And once the magic wears off, it's still kind of a retail job, and you still have got like cliquey drama. And I was going for a promotion that was given to someone else, and they had taken advantage of me. I was like writing stuff for their site, and they didn't pay me extra or anything like that kind of thing. So it had its own ups and downs. So I was like, it's okay. I just need some time to myself to figure things out. So I was watching a lot of documentaries, and like over the summer, like everything about myself pretty much changed, like almost overnight, because I had this one meditation where I was just like, I'm so ready to stop being afraid and angry and this. And, it's like, I was smoking a lot, pretty much
going through it
constantly. Yeah. So suddenly I was just like, what if I'm wrong about all of these things, you know? And like, what if there's like a really big problem? And I'd gotten into conspiracy theories and stuff like that when I was like a teenager, but that I just didn't know what to do about it. I mean, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, 9/11 was an inside job. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 15, you know, so what can you do? But then I kind of like got back into that, but I was watching Black history documentaries, and I was like, so the riots seem to happen like clockwork every 4 years. I was like, you know, I think they're politicized, and it just kind of went from there. And then I was in the Epstein stuff, and I was like, there's something going on here, you know.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
then like I was watching the Hassan Minaj Patriot Act, and he had this one episode about how the news is kind of fake and covers up pedophilia. And I was like, so the news is fake. And I was like, and then I found the WikiLeaks, and I was like, okay, so fake news.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Or emails. I was like, I get it. I was like, oh no.
Orange Man's not lying.
I was like, oh god, oh god.
Yep.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that could really be going on. I mean, like the KGB have also had a figure that tried to be friends with the people, and then the people who supported him were like targeted and like swiped out. So like that concerns me too. But at the same time, he was a huge catalyst for my wake up, and it, you know, I was just like, everything was like overnight. I was like, whoa, I actually, okay. It's rough because some people I can't do that.
Mhm.
But anyway, it just made me like
Nope.
it made my whole life change. I had
Flipped
to get
upside
out
down.
of the relationship I was in. I had to get out of it because I met somebody really awesome, but it was just like, I was like, what am I doing? Because like old me would never have had like a super long distance relationship with someone in England. It would have been really hard, like all this stuff. But like I was just in a good place, and like for whatever reason, the change that happened to me is I've just never been happier. Just living it and being like, oh, you know what? I don't know what's really going on, but I'm gonna try to find out, and I'm gonna try to tell other people, and you know, I'm gonna do some research and compare and contrast data and tell people what I find and what I see, and like just keep trying to make the world a better place through awareness and positivity. You know, that's what I want to do. So everything changed. I moved out. I moved in with my mom just because she needed me, and I obviously like I was kind of broke from COVID and all that stuff. So and now I've had like opportunities coming to me, and things are kind of on and up, and I was able to travel to England at one point. Like I was between the stimulus and like, you know, Christmas money, basically. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I have enough for a ticket. I was like, I never thought this would even be possible. Like, this is crazy that this is happening to me. I was like, this is literally like a fairy tale. I just got my wish. I was like, I'm going to England.
That's incredible.
I'm going to England. I was like, I'm going.
And
Because
Maddie's such a cool dude.
Yeah,
He's such a
it's
cool
so
dude.
sweet. And I just kept saying to myself, like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay positive. I think I'm going to be able to go to England. I don't know how, but I'm going to England, you know? And so I thought about
Law
it
of
like,
attraction is real.
yeah, I
It
thought
sure
about
is.
it every day, all the time. And then I got a passport, and I was like, I don't know how or when I'm going to get a ticket, but I know that it's going to happen, and I'll probably be there by February. I was like, that sounds crazy to me because I'm a broke ass bitch. So I was just like, so how is this going to happen? And it just, the pieces just lined up. Like I said, like the stimulus hit, and then Christmas hit, and I was like, holy shit, I could buy
My
tickets.
opportunities here.
Yeah.
And-
So like at the end of January, I just impulsively one night, like called the travel agent, was like, can I find a good deal on a trip to England? And then I didn't even really think about all the restrictions and all the bullshit and all the nonsense, but I just did it just because it was worth it to me. You know, it was crazy, but
So
I had a good time when I was there.
since this is a weed show, how
Right.
is the weed
Oh yeah.
on across the pond? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they have some dirt weed, but I don't know.
You know, it was pretty good for me. I have a low tolerance anyway, so maybe somebody would have thought it wasn't as good, but because it was always a little bit different, you know. He would pick it up, somebody would they obviously have their little like meetup. It's black market still, so it's just a street.
Yeah.
And there was one batch in particular I actually took a photo of because I was like, this is actually kind of pretty. I was like, I'm gonna take a photo of them. it was just it was surprisingly good, and I was gonna say
Everywhere that I've traveled, and mostly islands, so it's expected, but I've never really traveled somewhere and found like spectacular bud. Oh wow, that is actually pretty nice.
it wasn't bad.
That's
Oh,
not
wow,
too
yeah.
bad. It's not too. You can see the trichomes through the screen,
Yeah,
which is impressive.
Through the screen,
yeah,
the screen.
Yeah, so it's a little frosty.
Like,
It's got some nice orange hairs. It looks pretty.
I was like, this is kind of nice. That was so it was like
That's not bad. That's some of the best foreign weed I've ever seen. I like you. Granted, like I said, I go to the islands most of the time, so you go to the
It's terrible, dude.
garbage.
We were
That's
in
what
Mexico.
Mississippi weed was. Mississippi
Oh.
weed was Mexican weed.
I got
Oklahoma
Mexican.
was so terrible. When I lived in Oklahoma, it was freaking awful.
Oh,
So
there's
disappointing.
nothing worse than like being excited for like a bag of new weed, and you're like,
And it's
oh,
like,
no, you open
I
it.
had this one batch I'll never forget because it was so bad. It was like brown, and I was like, what is this?
Maybe they've.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had one that I got like that. I was in Mexico. In Cancun, and this is like 20 years ago. I was with Nick. I opened this up. It was in a Wonder Bread bag, an old Wonder Bread bag, and all I smelled as soon as I opened it was alcohol. And I was like, that is not right. I said, nobody is smoking this. I dumped it in the toilet, and then just like the whole toilet just like turned brown, and like it was disgusting. And I just flushed it. It was hard.
Ew.
Yeah. So that's my worst.
So Jude, how old were you when you started dabbling with the cannabis plant?
Well, I got a little bit peer pressured into it, I think originally, if I remember correctly. It was one of those things like here, and I was like,
just bugging you. Yeah.
First couple times I said no, but then it started to be something that I was like kind of interested in trying, like every now and then, like, oh, are we gonna get weed? Do you have any weed? Like, I started to want to kind of try it here and there when I had like, there was this one time when I was in a car with some kids, and we were teenagers driving, and there was on this really windy road out on the way to like Wilhoit out here. It's just kind of bumfuck nowhere, but I felt kind of car sick, and one of the guys in the car had a joint, and he was like, try this, it'll actually help you. And I was like, I hadn't considered the fact that it could like help me feel better. And that way I remember that was like significant for me, because I took like maybe one or two little puffs, and I was like, I actually do feel better. I was like,
Wow,
shit.
That's incredible.
It was really impactful. Like it was probably one of the first times that I really had tried it, and like that, when I realized that it was actually good for something, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Because I was like, I had to be maybe 15, 16 even, but like by the end of like high school, I think I was like, it was like 17. I had like a half day schedule, so I had this buddy that I would go hang out with, and we would just smoke and just play games, and that was like the thing. I just wanted to like go do that. I did that like a couple times a week, I just love chilling, like playing video games and smoking and the snacks and munchies. I love munchie runs. I've had to ease up on it a little bit growing up. As an adult, you're just like, I genuinely should not eat this much sugar anymore. Just like, it's bad for me.
I know I have a hard time with it, as you can see my fat ass.
Well, you have to pick healthier munchies. That's the trick, because you just have to trick yourself into eating better things. So I like to get like Harvest Snaps, like dried veggie crisps.
Those are good. My wife loves those.
Yeah, I just tried some that are like they're red lentil based, but they're like Funyuns.
Oh my god, and those are her favorite Funyuns.
Yeah, they're like crunchy.
I gotta try this
or something. And I had like a kickin' barbecue flavor, and like they were so good. But you got to trick yourself, you got to buy some carrot sticks or something to just crunch on, or like whatever, something sweet like fruit, so. But I'm not gonna lie, I still have candy sometimes. I still definitely like, I'll bend and we'll have like some Rice Krispie treats or something.
If you do have candy, go with hard candy. Because hard candy, it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
So you kind of trick yourself into thinking that you've had more than you really did. Like if you're just eating M&Ms or like Skittles or whatever it is,
it's hard.
You have like 30 of them, and then when do you stop? At least if you have the hard candy, it's maybe the same amount of calories as a couple Skittles, but it takes you 20 minutes to consume it. 30, yeah.
My fat ass is eating the whole bag.
Yeah, I have this problem. I brought a bunch of candy back from England that I was just like munching out on there, because like the food was pretty cheap. Like I only brought like 200 pounds, but You
How
could
was
get
the food?
pretty good. The English
Yeah.
food, like their own food is great. They're great for pastries and cakes and sweets, and like I had a roast dinner at one person's
Oh,
house.
nice.
It was really awesome. I got to try like oh my
Mrs.
God,
Lovett's meat pies.
Yorkshire pudding. No, no. Well, I'm primarily vegetarian. I took a little break to have a little bit of bacon out there because it was just too tempting. But
Bacon is so good.
I know it's terrible because I was like, I haven't had bacon in like 2 years, Matt. He's like, I'm sorry. I was like, it's okay, it's my choice. Like,
I couldn't give
but
it up for 2 years.
God, it was yeah.
God
So
bless you.
the only thing that I would say they don't do that well is like sometimes things are either way too spicy or there's like no flavor. There's like no seasonings, you know, they're very light on certain seasonings or flavor.
Yeah, a little bland.
The guacamole was bland. That kind of thing. But like I also tried stuff that I really liked. I love crumpets. I love the roast was amazing. They have their tender stem broccoli is more popular, I noticed for some reason. It was just one of those things. I was like, I've never even seen this like out in Arizona. I don't know
They're
why.
like broccolini.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's what
it's
we have
literally
here.
like it looks like asparagus, but it's tender stem broccoli. It's just long stem broccoli.
Yeah, we call it broccolini at least
Broccoli,
over here.
that's funny.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
Italians. So
it's good.
So
It's very
for-
good.
But I was about the food. I munched out and I brought some
Yeah.
gum.
I've heard
stuff
nothing
back.
but terrible things about British food, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but
someone's
you
house.
always,
Enjoy
no
it.
matter where you travel, you have to have the local
Yeah,
cuisine. You gotta do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why
Absolutely.
they made me that roast, but I just didn't have meat with mine. But they made like this cauliflower cheese, like I don't know, it was like a gravy with cauliflower kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And then there was potatoes with truffle oil on them.
Oh, nice.
And Yorkshire puddings. I had 2 of them, and then the tender stem broccoli, and I think some carrots too, like steamed, and just gravy over all of it.
So-
It was so good.
We were talking earlier about how this plant, there's still things that we're discovering all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. And this industry is really at its infancy.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited for the future, but I'm also a little concerned
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
because we talked about on the show how, you know, this plan is amazing, but right off the bat, you could already see in the legal states that those boutique growers are being bought out and they cannot compete.
Well, we're playing long ball here, and so this is the first hurdle, though. This
Yes,
is the first like
absolutely.
big hurdle, and so we will cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think the first, thing we have to accomplish is getting it legal.
Yeah,
across the board.
nationwide. Yeah.
I agree.
And then we'll tackle that.
So what do you see for the future of this industry? Like, where do you see this industry going?
Well, I definitely see like I see a lot of corporatization and a lot of like, there's big companies like Mad Men trying to buy stuff up and
Everything.
like they're a little corrupt, and that worries me, because the commercial aspect of it being essentially like kind of a government regulated thing is obviously I can understand why that's a little unappealing to some people, but then like it's a trade-off. You can choose exactly what you want and need, and it's tested, or you can help your friend out and smoke their weed or whatever, but like
With limited choices.
yeah, with limited choices. So I'm hoping to see maybe something in the middle where like local people can still sell and they're not totally destroyed the way that things are happening now with small businesses. Like I hope that people can make their own small businesses out of it, and you have your local person who like makes the topicals and stuff, and you can
Yes.
actually open your own small shop or something like that. Like
Well,
that's what I'm hoping gets more popular.
Is there any industry now that you think you would compare it to what you would like to see it to? You know what I mean? Not really, right? I'm just trying to think of it.
I mean, it's pretty unique. I just want I just want everyone to have access to a decent selection of decent products. That's all we ever want. And I hope that it does get like, well, the thing is that we want to compare it to Amsterdam, but I've actually heard a lot of kind of sketchy things about Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Same,
absolutely.
Same.
It's not really tested.
It's a loophole really there. It's not like we have it.
The growth itself is kind of black market, but then
Mhm.
then you can sell it. So I was like, how does that even, I don't understand that. How could you have one without the other? But they have these edibles that you don't even know how many milligrams are in them. They just sell you this beautiful chocolate and they're like, there's weed in it. And you're like, okay.
Give me.
Okay.
It terrifies me because
Just a leg.
I need to know because I am a lightweight. I know my dose. I know my cap. It's like it has to be less than 40 milligrams.
I make heavy duty gummies.
Yeah, 40
right?
milligrams. I said last week I started 250.
But the ones I mean, I make them from scratch. They're very heavy duty just because I make them for more, medicinal purposes. I don't want people to have to consume too much, but I give people the caveat and the extreme warning, whenever, especially they're new, just like little bit. And, it's just an amazing experience because James, when you were talking before about the gentleman who came back and shook your hand because you made obviously the right choice for him and he made a big impact, like he was able to live normally. I had very similar experiences with these gummies that I make. And, this one person who has cancer and has not been able to walk without pain in years and has my gummies and can walk pain-free for the first time. And they're like brought to tears and it's unbelievable. I have goosebumps right now telling you the story. And, I wish I knew exactly how many milligrams were in them. And the best I can do is really just estimate. But it would be great if I could just say this is exactly what's in it. And hopefully down the road, as things progress, we'll
without
get
a
to
doubt.
that kind of place.
That's where we're going. But no, Jude, I 100% agree with you. I'm very nervous about the corporatization because you could see they don't care about the actual product. They care about the yield. It's all yield.
It's a business.
How many pounds can you grow me per light? How many, just get as much as you possibly can. And that's all I care about. And the boutique growers are getting pushed aside, and it's really unfortunate. And I think the one thing that would solve the problem, and not just solve the problem, it would force the dispensaries to start pricing it properly, and not overcharging all of these consumers. Because a lot of people, like New Jersey, the dispensary, when it was all medical, it was $600 an ounce. Some people are on Medicaid. It was like $587, and some people are on Medicaid, and they only get like $800 a month, and they have to spend $500 because it doesn't get covered by insurance. You're paying for that out of pocket. So it was most of their money, and it's ridiculous. It's absurd. So I heard the prices went down in New Jersey, but that's how much it was when I was going there. It was crazy. So I think the thing that will solve this problem, and states I think are aware of this and they're already writing into the law and stopping this from happening, is they need to allow home grows.
Yeah.
They need to allow people to grow 6 to 10 plants, depending on how many people are in the family, in the household. 6 to 10
community grows.
Yeah.
Community grows would be amazing.
Because now it's everybody can grow weed. Not everybody has a green thumb. Not everybody can grow really good weed. But there are people that will do a 6 to 10, and they'll help their friends and family out. Because when you're growing that much, it's not nearly as expensive as it is to go to the dispensary. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can grow your own plants, you're going to be able to have some weed for yourself and have some weed for your friends and family.
How can you say, in these legal states, you can have up to 6 ounces on you, right? Or whatever, but it can't be attached to roots and a stem. So, I mean, that's how I store it. You know what I mean? I just store it live on the plant because I feel like it stays fresher.
Yeah.
But
it's incredible.
But I think that would solve so many issues in the cannabis community. And when it gets federally legal, then again, you also have to think Oregon, I hear, is very, very cheap. You can get 25-cent J's out there. Anybody in Oregon out that's listening to this, put in the comment below and let us know. Because my uncle's ex-fiance, she was on the cover of Oregon Leaf magazine.
Ooh.
Yeah. And her sons run a really good company called the CO2 company. Really great products out there. But she's like, there's so much overgrow. She had to get it. She was a master grower on a farm, and she was growing these gigantic 10-foot plants out in this massive farm. It was unbelievable. It was beautiful. But she's like, there's so many grows that there's so much product that they can't get rid of it. They have so much product. Yeah. Because that's how many people are growing.
They're legal states or something. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Once it becomes federally legal, that area of North California, and Oregon is some of the greatest places to grow in the world.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm very interested to see what New Jersey, the Garden State's going to start producing. But that's
We have
still
a much more limited growth season, though, unfortunately.
absolutely. But when it's federally legalized and they're able to ship that all over the country and things like that, I think that it's going to solve a lot of issues with the prices as well, because they'll be able to, the competition will be so high and they'll be able to fill a lot more demand. But
That's radical.
I think to really solve the corporatization and really to like, if I was allowed to grow, I would grow 100% because I know how to. I would find.
But you weren't allowed to smoke either, but you still did that. So what's the difference?
Yeah, that's true. I don't have the space to do it right here
in
Vegas.
I've seen that house. I've seen that house, Judith. Shut the fuck up.
Plus, you can buy those little like, pop-up tents that you
Hell
can...
yeah,
I could do that.
Or something.
I could do that. But now they're making little refrigerators.
Those things.
There's a refrigerator that I saw, and you literally put a seed in the moisture thing, and you close the door, and all of a sudden it grows.
Your alarm goes off 3 months later.
Yeah, it's
ding.
like here, ding, it's ready. It's unbelievable. But that's where technology is going to go. But at the same time, allowing home grow would change the industry drastically, because it would make the corporate companies worry about the product. Because if they're putting out this trash product, and I could grow some product, or my neighbor next door is growing something that's way better, like why would I go to the dispensary? Why would I do that? So
and people are just gonna have to start doing it. I mean, I think that's gonna happen either way. Like once people get really, really sick of it, they're gonna be like, screw it, like I'm just gonna grow at home. And then word of mouth will let people know, like, if you want better product, come over here. And then the dispensaries are gonna get less business, and then you know what I mean. It's just gonna be like a bubble that'll eventually pop.
Plus, people will be more comfortable with growing at home once it is legal in their state, even if home grow specifically is not. They're like, all right, well, the plant is legal, like the substance is legal, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna grow it. And it's really just more about taxes, I think, because they can't collect any tax revenue on product that you grow yourself, and it's just Uncle Sam's got to wet the beak always, and every decision is based on that.
It's horrible.
What's your tax in Arizona?
Honestly, right now I don't know.
Rec.
I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked into it just because I'm still medical. So I'm just
what do you get taxed medical?
I want to say it was close to what Anthony was saying. I think it's around 8%.
That's what medical is out here. It's 8%.
Yeah.
Rec is 18.25 out here.
Wreck-It Ralph.
It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that is absurd.
Yeah, and not only that, for Top Shelf, you're spending, like, I saw the other day, because like I don't normally go to the dispensary, but I saw the other day they had some cookies, an eighth, no tax included. So a tax on top of this, it was a $75 eighth. I was like, yo, you are out of your damn mind. Like, for some Vegas weed that's just dry as hell. Like, there's a few good cultivators, and cookies is new to the town. So I'm interested to see how they're growing it. But I feel like they're going to be very corporatized, and it's just a name brand that you're buying, but who knows?
Wow, it looks like it varies from 16%, but in Chandler, for example, an individual would pay 23.8% tax.
Whoa. Yeah, it's absurd. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So it's for $50 a product, that is an additional $11.90.
Yep.
So there's a flat state tax, and then the municipalities, the cities tack on to that.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, like I said last week, the place in Colorado that opted out, I think it was Colorado Springs. And now they're opting in, and they're like, shit, we should have taxed the fuck out of these people. Shit. There we go. We got to put in the swear jar. This is they're already watching this channel. It's absurd. Like, we can't win. We cannot win, guys.
I love YouTube and all of their products and videos.
Yeah,
they're a great service.
Best.
And I mean that. They're super duper.
But this is why, you have, like, all right, cool. Colorado, they're using the taxes for the schooling system and things like that, the infrastructure, which is very good. I agree. Cool. Tax it. It's legal. But at the same time, if I could grow it at my house.
But there are legal states that have this, right? There are legal states that have home grow.
Well, even in Arizona, like there's a rule where you have to be a certain distance away from a dispensary, but if you can prove that you are, then you're allowed to grow.
There's that out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's that. Yeah.
So you could like pay a friend
25 miles.
Miles out or something. Yeah. I don't
If
know.
you're 25 miles away from a dispensary, you can grow.
Yeah.
I'm in Vegas. There's
Yeah,
60,
they're everywhere.
there's 60 dispensaries in the whole city. Like it's crazy. So
yeah, you could see them from your porch.
yeah, I literally could see them from my porch.
Your patio.
You
On the
know,
veranda.
yeah, the veranda. I'm over here like Oprah Winfrey and Prince and Meghan Markle hanging out in my veranda. But no, I'm it's a really good thing, and the testing is what I'm most excited for, and also the research that's going to happen on this plant, because you were listing a lot of compounds and cannabinoids that were in the plant that I've never even really looked into or heard of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terpenes, like we talked about last week.
I wish I was here for the terp talk.
Oh, absolutely. Terps are one of my favorite parts of the plant.
There are notes on terps too, like
absolutely.
What they're for, and
let's
like
hear it.
Let's hear it. So at the time I was running an Instagram for marijuana evaluation, so I'd make little like weed posts and stuff. So there was this one day I took a little photo of all of the Leafly's like flashcards. Basically, they have flashcards for weeds, all the components, all the terpenes.
Yep.
So I made some notes from those. So giving credit to Leafly, but I think there's more than just these ones that I wrote down, but these are really popular ones. Like these are the main ones, basically. So there's the limonene, which we mentioned, and that provides anxiety and stress relief. It's also found in lemon, orange rind, and juniper. So, and strains that have that are going to be strawberry banana, wedding cake, and do-si-dos. And a lot of them are going to they're going to have multiple terpenes, obviously. But
it also comes down to the cultivator as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the one we talked about, that caryophyllene, how do you pronounce it?
Caryophyllene.
Terrifying. I feel
they
like
have funny names.
People say it differently, but that comes from pepper. Like it's anti-inflammatory, so it's found in black pepper, cloves, and cinnamon, and herbs like that. And so that's going to be in strains like Girl Scout cookies, original glue, and purple punch. I personally love it. Anything glue, I'm like I want that. It's something about this terpene is I get really attracted to. Like I can smell the spicy pepper. I like the gassy pepper smell. And I think it's because I'm having like early joint problems already. So my body's like, and you need anti-inflammatory, like you need this. It smells good. You know what I mean? Because typically when you enjoy the smell, it means it has something that your body wants. And I think that's one of the reasons I like that terpene so much. Is because I've got like early arthritis things happening. I get like stiff and stuff. But then there's pinene. So that's a pain relief, anti-anxiety, also anti-inflammation. So that's going to be found in things like rosemary, basil, and obviously pine needles. But it's in strains
that's Anthony's favorite.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's in stuff like Big Smooth, Critical Mass, and one called Snoop Stream. And then one of the most common ones we touched on earlier was myrcene, and that's calming, relaxation. That's the couch log. That's the chill one. The one's found in most of them. It's kind of floral, and that's also in thyme, mango, lemongrass, things like that. And it's really prominent in Blue Dream, Cherry Pie, and OG Kush. And then the last one I wrote down was the terpenoline, which is more of a fruitier one. And 1 in 10 strains is terpenoline dominant. So it's really, really common, and that provides an uplifting mood boost. It's more of like a mood stimulant, and it's also found in lilacs, nutmeg, and cumin, and it's going to be in stuff like Ghost Train Haze, Jack Herrera, and Chernobyl. So that's in a lot of like stimulating sativas.
It's a very sativa dominant terp.
It's my least favorite because
I don't like it either.
Problems, and it kind of ramps me up too far. I get like palpitations and stuff. My heart starts racing. So I stay away from anything that smells like Ghost Train Haze. Like that smells bad to me. It's like when I smell something with that in it, I'm like, no, I can't have it. I don't want it. Like I know what's gonna happen, because if it's like sour, fruity, terpenoline heavy, and it's sativa, I'm like, it's a panic attack.
Is that a learned behavior, would you say, or a learned response, I should say, or is that something that's innate in you? Like when you just smell that, you just don't like it?
I've noticed that when I smell it, I'm just like, ew, I don't like, I'm not attracted to the smell at all. Like when it's too like sour like that, a lot of sativas have that trait that they smell kind of sour, bright, lemon, pine, terpenoline, something about it is like, it's like gross to me. I can tell that it's just not going to be good. And like I was talking about earlier, when you smell something that you really like, typically it means that your body is like, I want that. Whatever's in that is good. Yeah, great, awesome. So I think it's my natural response to my body being like, this will cause you anxiety. Don't have that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not
It's so
appealing.
incredible.
I don't know. I think it's a natural.
It's fascinating.
Terpenes are my favorite part of the plant because not only do you get your smells and tastes, but there's so many medicinal values. And I always say, I didn't mention last week, but you know, the best way to describe it for me is, you know, I like sativas. I do enjoy some really nice heady, you know, head high sativas. I feel very euphoric. They're great. But also a lot of sativas make me super anxious. I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. It feels like my skin is crawling. And the reason for that is because of the terp profile. It's not anything else. There's so many different compounds and there's so many different terp profiles in every single bud. And there's some terpenes that go well with your endocannabinoid system. And there's some that don't. Like, think about, like I said last week, the what's it called?
I can't see it very well.
It's very crystally, but no, the essential oils. People are drawn to certain essential oils and they make them feel a certain way when they use there's exactly, it's the same exact thing. It's from the terpenes.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for Judith.
Yeah.
All right, so if you got to pick your favorite way to consume cannabis, what's your go-to? What's your number one choice?
I would, if I could, smoke joints all the time, every day. It's the most convenient. And I used to smoke cigarettes and I made myself quit. And so I kind of like that sitting there smoking, thinking, chilling, enjoying it kind of thing. I like passing it around with friends and stuff. So that's like my number one, but my number two is bong. So I have a bong right now. I prefer that because the water filtration and everything, it's still be kind of harsh, but it doesn't, it takes less time for me to get a really big bong hit, maybe one more, and then I can kind of move on with my day. Whereas with a joint, I like to sit and enjoy it and smoke with it and hang out with it. You know, that's number one. But like when I really want to, like these days when I want to get high quickly, I just like put some flour in a bong bowl and like take a really big hit, and then I'm good for a little bit. Because I've eased up on smoking a lot. I kind of noticed when I was like going through stuff, that's when I needed to smoke it every day all the time, because I was unhappy and I needed to process. It helped me get through my day, you know, that kind of thing when I was stressed out like all the time. I've noticed now that I'm happier, I don't necessarily want to smoke it all the time, constantly the way I did. I like to mellow out with it, and I kind of like it if I'm not feeling good before I need to eat some food or if I can't sleep. So I find myself like when I'm happier, I use it way more medicinally than when I was stressed out and was smoking it like as soon as I woke up, like all the time. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting the way it can affect your life. But I was still going on with things and getting through it. But it's been kind of nice, I guess, because I'm not going through as much weed.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's really an amazing plant, and whether you like the psychotropic value of it and getting high, or you just like the medicinal value, there's so many things that this plant can do.
Absolutely. I enjoy both.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like there was something I was going to say earlier about like the terpenes when we were on. Oh yeah, I was like, when you were talking about how the terp profile can like kind of wig you out, I think that's something that not a lot of people realize or know, and that's what can put them off from the plant in general. They think it's just the THC that's making their skin crawl or giving them anxiety, and it's like you probably just got a strain that you didn't agree with, because not everyone realizes that coffee is kind of like, or weed is kind of like coffee. There's like different roasts, different strengths, different, you know, terpene profiles. You know, most people don't even understand profiles or terpenes. It's like the thing that makes it smell special and different, you know. There's just the same way that coffee is. That's how I would explain it to people. It's like, okay, well, you know how there's like a dark chocolate roast, well, there's also like a certain kind of weed that's it's more peppery and it makes you more sleepy, or there's this one that kind of smells like lemon lime and it makes you a little more happy, giggly. And I like my hybrids. I mean, everything's kind of hybrid now, but I like to find that perfect middle where I still get the
Mhm.
euphoria and the good mood, but I still feel relaxation. And if I smoke more, I could potentially get a couch log. So that's why I like a lot of glue strains. They tend to be very like in the middle, but like a little on the heavier side.
Big fan of the limonene and the myrcene can't combine.
Fair enough.
That's my go-to.
Mhm.
Euphoric, nice and relaxed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not up to speed yet, but I'm gonna study.
But no,
and I'll
that's
get there.
that's what I tell people all the time that had bad experiences,
Mhm.
and it's usually because they're the terp profile. I smoke all the time, and there's still times where I'll smoke something, and I'm like, yo, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this high. I don't enjoy
Wow.
this.
I want to know why though. Like, so when you smoke something and let's say it doesn't agree with you, like you're just saying,
Everybody goes through it.
yeah, it would be nice to know like specifically what about that particular strain or whatever it was that didn't agree with you, or in
Well,
your
that's
day, or what you did leading up to that. You know, it's like, all right, were you hungry and
Well, that's kind of what I was doing.
dehydrated?
Yeah, when I was working at the dispensary and they were having me like basically write their product descriptions, what I was doing was I was sampling strains and writing notes like what I was doing, what I used it for, how it smelled, how it looked, how it tasted, did I like it, and what I recommend it for. Like I was reviewing strains for a couple of weeks. And so it's I recommend people keep like a strain diary. And that's the beneficial thing with dispensaries right now is approximately what you're getting. It depends on if it's well grown or not, because
yes,
Right.
one company could grow original glue and it could be awesome, and then another company could grow it and it could
exactly
seem
what I said last week.
like an imitation, and you're just like, what is this? This isn't original glue at all. But if you get a good batch, keep track of that, like write it down and take note of what you were doing at the time, and did it help you. So I've noticed something like lavender strains are really nice and mellow to like just chill with. I get a sativa hybrid.
That's from linalool. That's from the linalool terp.
Yeah, linalool, that's right. Lavender is it.
No, well, I said last week, because I have a big issue now from working in dispensaries, especially. I have a big issue with strain names. I have such a big issue with it.
It's I know
They're
what you
ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah.
It's one, they're out of control with the names. And
It
some
puts
of them are
people.
fun.
It puts new people off.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And two, it comes down to the cultivator, because everybody has the glues, they have the blue dreams, they have those major strains that because they know of the name value, it's gonna sell. And if the cultivator is like, you can literally give two cultivators the same exact seed from the same genetics, give it to them to grow, and they'll come out completely different. They will not be the same plant. You can give the same grower to the same seed and they'll come out different. So you have to be very aware of who is growing the product of the plant rather than the actual strain name. If the grower is really good and it's a strain that you really like, you're probably going to enjoy the plant. But if it's a terrible grower, you're going to smoke it and maybe get the placebo effect and be like, oh, this is good because it's in your head, this is your favorite strain. But it's really not going to give you the medicinal value that you're looking for, even the feeling that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Do you think they need to be referred to differently rather than these crazy names, or say sativa indica hybrid? Do you think they should be referred to more by their dominant terpenes?
No, because it gets very sciencey.
Yeah.
Science?
All right. Well, no. Okay. Well, then a layman's term that is associated with each terpene, let's say, so to speak. But I don't know.
A lot
that
of
makes sense to
a
me,
lot of
because
them,
just the name, you have no idea what it's about.
there's just so many different strains that you'd have to, because everything is crossed with everything. Like you don't have the originals.
No.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Leafly, I think, is one of the first sites that started, because Leafly's big. It started evolving the way it explained its strains to people. So now if you go on,
I do like it. Yep.
Yeah, it breaks it down with their terpene profiles even more. It tells you even more about it. And I think that's great. So I think they're just, to evolve the way that they're explained and break them down is good. But I don't know what the solution would be to like rename things, because
we need terpene scanners on our phones.
Yeah,
right. No, it's going to be tough because there is so many different strains, and one of our goals in this show is to grow this and be a household name brand in this industry. And get a strain named after ourselves.
Well,
You know, like that'd be
we'll
such a cool
with a
cool-
focus on terpenes.
Yeah, well, well, with a few terpenes, yeah,
Yeah.
a few terpenes. That's why we're starting the hashtag terp mafia, because we're a couple of Italians.
That's a stereotype, and I
yep.
resent it.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite strains are probably going to be like bubblegum glue and like purple punch and blackberry kush. So if I could like, I want to make like a hybrid strain of all of those and name it after myself. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, find a couple strains that you really like and crossbreed them. Like, I want to learn how to crossbreed. Like,
I love pink
it's
runts.
such a cool. It's such a cool
pink
talent.
runts. Yeah, I got it recently.
Is breeding strains, because you could literally, and I wish you could get your hands.
Oh, isn't it just pollinating? Isn't it just pollinating one with the other?
Yes.
I mean, like, you know.
Yeah, just do it. I'm like saying, I want to actually do it. Not
then they back cross them.
Learning how to
make
do it,
more
reading
stable.
it, learning how to do. Like, I have a book about it that I read. Like, learning about it is different than actually doing it, because especially when it comes to plants. Because like I said, you could have a green thumb or you don't have a green thumb. Like, it's just it is what it is. Like, Ant used the analogy of tomatoes. Like, someone grows tomatoes, they get a small little thin bushel, and someone gets so many they can't get rid of them. They have so many. And it's the same thing with pot. Like, it's the same exact thing. Some people are going to be good, some people aren't. It's just what it is. But it's a talent. Like, anybody can grow it, don't get me wrong, anybody can grow weed, but good weed, it's a science. It's a mixture between a science and an art, and it's very, very difficult to and it's a lot of work. Like, it's a lot of work. It's especially if you don't have the proper setup. Like, if you're just it's a lot of work, constant monitoring, pH levels, so much to go, flushing it. There's so many things that go into it, and if you're having a multi-plant grow, you got a lot of work ahead of you.
I know. I really just want to start with like 2 or 3 myself and just see how it goes,
Absolutely. Well,
you have a long growing season out there, right? Would you do indoor or outdoor?
It's all indoor. It's got to be.
Yeah, I think
it's too dry.
I want to get one of those little closets that has everything kind of like attached to it.
Yeah.
I just, money.
No, I'd want to pick my lights, and it's so crazy because LED lights, you can have a good grow, and for a home grow, that's like really the only.
That's what I have the roommate.
Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna really do it, because if you're gonna use metal halogen lights and things like that, your electric bill is going to be through the roof.
Oh, I mean, that's what my thing has is those lights, the halogen,
and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy how expensive your electric bill is going to be. So you're not. LEDs are definitely good. There's some really good grows and really good companies that use.
But why can't you just irrigate? Why wouldn't you be able to have it outside and irrigate it in Arizona?
Because it's dry. It's like a desert.
Irrigate it.
Oh,
right. You don't have water coming to homes in Arizona. Like, is that a New Jersey only thing? I guarantee they do.
Well, we have something here called caliche in the desert. I don't know if you have it in Arizona.
I don't think so.
But it's like right below the ground, and it's like rock, and you need an actual jackhammer to tunnel it. Yeah, that's how strong. Because it's crazy. Wow. It's if you dig, like, you can't dig it with a shovel. You're not getting anywhere.
But I'm saying if you have like people do it all the time, nice big pots, you do like a little drip irrigation system. It's not difficult if you want to have it outside and you don't want to invest in the technology.
My only concern with growing outside is like nosy neighbors.
Not just that, you'd have to have a constant, source of moisture on it, because it'd be so dry.
That's what I'm saying. A drip irrigation. It's like just a hose with a couple holes in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it just slowly drips constant moisture. Yeah.
That's what you'd have to do.
Something to consider for sure. Myself, I just, like I said, I need like a little bit of investment money and then some time to figure out where I would grow. I don't think I need a new space. I'm in an in-between spot in my life right now where I don't think I could really like grow.
Well, what's great about a home grow is that once you have the equipment, like, you're pretty set up. There's only a few things that you need, like new pots and things like that.
With the roommate, it was very difficult. It was very involved. Like, I was fully involved in the process. Yeah, like you said, like checking pH levels, changing the water all the time, and it was a lot of work. That machine made it extremely easy, but even with a very advanced machine like that, it's not easy.
No, it's a lot of work. So imagine doing that with a multi-plant grow. you know, even a 10
You
plant
can't go on
grow.
vacation.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
can you take care of my cats and my weed plant?
Yeah, can you
Thanks.
just make sure it's good? It's intense. It's a lot
I did.
of.
I had that. My dad had to come and change my water.
Did you really?
Yeah. In my
Oh, your
system when
father's the best.
yeah, I was up in New Hampshire.
You're the
And I was like,
father's the
Pop, you
best.
got to help me out here.
Well, I gotta shake his hand because that was some good bud that you grew.
Yeah.
So I gotta thank him, make sure that came out okay. Because if it wasn't for him, that thing would have died and you would have been fucked.
Yeah. Well, no, I had to do it. I had to do it weekly, and when I happened to be away on the day that it had to be done.
Oh
and like if you went too long, then it just wasn't.
Oh
good.
yeah, those small little variables can
Yeah.
change the grow completely. Those small little changes in your grow.
And then I read this cool article, like for the end when I was getting ready to finish them, I opened the tray and then I just dumped it full of ice, right? And then I shut it, and then I turned the lights off and I closed the door, and then I replaced the ice after maybe a day or so, and I left it closed, I think, for like 2 days. And so when that happens to the plant, when it gets shocked with the cold and then it's all dark, it just like fucking pukes. Swear jar, sorry. It just pukes like terpenes. Like it just keeps producing these terpenes because like naturally some of these terpenes are there to ward away pests and protect the plant from getting eaten. Like a lot of animals don't want to eat things that smell super strong like that. So it thinks it's winter and it's time to go, and so it's just pumping. And
yeah.
I think it worked. I'm sure. Hopefully it helped. It came out pretty good.
Well, we could literally talk for hours
Forever.
with Jude.
Yeah.
Literally forever. So we're definitely gonna have to do this again. And
Sure.
and it's always fun. It's always fun talking about bud, something that we all love rather than politics, something a little different. But we really appreciate you coming on. Where can everybody find you? Give yourself a little shout out.
Oh, well, I've got my website, judithrose.co. Still on Twitter. I want to say I keep forgetting because it's not my old account. Even though my old account went last July, I never got used to my new Twitter handle. And I'm kicked off I'm banned from TikTok. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. At Judith Rose 91 is my current Twitter. I'm also on Gab. I think that's Hey Jude Rose or Hey Judith Rose. But anyway, if you go to my website, you can join a Telegram group that I've got going on with a bunch of other truthers and people. And then my Gab's listed on there as well. You should be able to find my Instagram. I don't think my TikTok link is going to work anymore because, I'm gone. But, and I don't really know where I'm going to make videos next, or I've just been sort of taking a break from like the little videos I used to do because Triller sucks. I got on Triller and I was like, I hate this.
It's all miserable.
Not the same. So I don't really know what to do. I'm talking to people about like, I don't know if it's possible for someone to like make a TikTok account that for me that I can like sign into, but I don't know. I want to figure something out, even though TikTok's kind of corrupt itself, but I still miss it.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah, but so I have a little shop going. I've got some new designs that I'm working on that I'm going to be releasing pretty soon here.
Nice.
Just if anyone's interested in supporting me, helping me out as I go here. I just been kind of living by the seat of my pants. I never got unemployment, so I do Postmates, and I've got this little brand ambassador job starting, and
very nice.
My shop helps, so I'm just living.
So we definitely got to get together and have an in-person sesh.
100%.
100%, because you're not too far. But we really appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun. We really
it was a lot of fun.
For me, you guys are super chill. I appreciate it.
The knowledge that you dropped on our show, because I tell Anthony all the time all these things, and at least he knows it's not just me that's talking about it.
I love learning. Oh no, dude, I know.
I
know when someone knows what they're talking about, and I always love being the student in the room. Like I love that. I love learning.
Yeah, well, I learned a few things today as well. Jude brought some things to the table that I've never heard of.
Yeah. I can't say I'm an expert myself, but I mean, like we were talking about, this is one of those industries you can always learn something.
It's a never-ending process, and that's what I love about the testing the terpenes, because that's your like own personal journey that everybody goes on to find out what works best for them. It's like, this is my path. Oh, I don't like this, I like this, and you finally find that combination that works best for you. And that's what I love about this plant. It's everybody's own personal journey. No one has the same journey with this plant. It's really, really cool, and I'm so thankful for it. But with that, guys, we really appreciate everybody, and we'll be back next week with another episode, and we have our regular shows on Rumble. And we really appreciate everybody. Have a good day, and I hope everybody gets nice and stoned.
Thanks for listening.
Stay blessed.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
I'm videotaping this for scientific research. This shit'll be on the Discovery Channel.
Don't judge me, Mom.